Don't forget to suck some titties.
Being a gambling man, right? You know, they say life's a gamble until your life's in shambles. I started getting into baseball again. I didn't know there's this prediction market app called Kalshi. And I did baseball. Don't tell my girlfriend. But I did baseball predictions yesterday. I gotta tell you, man, I was killing it until I wasn't. There's so, I'll tell you one thing about sports. Just cash it out. Don't hold till the ninth inning. The first prediction I did was on Saturday. I just did like one of the Braves versus the Giants. And I actually had the Braves. I paid a pretty small premium. I'm doing very small right now, like $10, $20 payouts type of thing. And the power went out. It was almost like a sign from God. I'm like, you know what? The power's out. I'm probably about to lose my internet connection. It's the ninth inning. Just cash it out. Take the 90%. I'm going to wait. And then they might blow a save. And then I go from being up 10 to $15 to losing it all. It may only be 10 to $15, but it affects you. I don't care how much money it is. It's the fact that you could have done something and you didn't do it, right? And Lord behold, I cash out, and literally like 20 minutes later, I look it up and the Giants hit a walk-off home run. The same thing happened on Sunday. The same thing happened again on Saturday where it was the Padres versus the Brewers. And I had the Padres winning. Except they wanted to fucking bench Fernando Tatis, I guess, for some personal bullshit. And what happened the next day, on Sunday? They won. You know why? Because they played Fernando fucking Tatis. What the fuck is going on with this management? See, that's the thing. When you bet or do predictions and stuff, you get mad at the managers. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's your best fucking player. Like, he broke team rules. He didn't run out bases. It's like, but it was like the eighth inning. They were up 1-0. And I said, yesterday, they were up 1-0. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to cash it out. And they won eventually anyways, but still. And then I was like picking a bunch of underdogs. And what you realize about these odds and spreads, there's a reason why they're underdogs. You think optimism, like, well, if I just went 2 of these 4 underdogs, I still come out profitable. The problem is these underdogs suck ass. I'm not dumb enough to do the fucking Rockies, but Jesus, I thought some 25 win team against a 32 win team at home, it's not a bad. It's like I'm looking at the lineups. I haven't watched a baseball game in fucking like 2 years. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is good. Bo Bichette, names I've heard, decent averages. And then they lose 7-3. But, the point I'm trying to make here is it's funny how, FYI, I'm drinking this Ghost Energy iced tea lemonade. It's a new flavor. This is by far, I may be going crazy here, the best energy drink I've ever had. It literally just tastes like iced tea with like a hint of carbonation. It is goddamn delectable. But, I've noticed a lot of my topics recently have been about gambling and stuff like that. Because, I'm trying to promote to the youth. I'm kidding. Don't gamble or do any type of this stuff unless you are okay with losing money. I'm kidding, but I'm not. Sports gambling is such a disadvantage. It's insane. Sports has nothing to do. The thing about sports gambling, it has nothing to do about your knowledge about the sport. Actually, I would argue the more you know about the sport, the more of a hindrance it is on your thought process. Like with trading, no. But, you know, how you could attach it to, like with trading is, you don't really need to know the ins and outs of every company to understand stock price averages, price actions, things overbought, oversold, gaps and stuff like that. Like you don't have to know a damn thing about Apple's new fucking, recording this by the way on June 9th, 2025. Apple did like a whole 1 o'clock presentation, I think today. And on YouTube they had, and it's just a preset video of them basically promoting F1 the movie. All I gotta say is this F1 movie better be fucking good, because I haven't seen something promoted like this since this is like peak 20 like Marvel Avengers promotion type of shit. Iron Man promotion. Bro, like, and look, the movie actually looks good from a visual standpoint. It looks interesting. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. As fucking Brad Pitt. If you're not gay for Brad Pitt, I think you're lying. But, yeah. My thing with, but it's amazing. They do this great presentation about AI, the future of this, and people are like, dump it. It's like, bro, Apple could literally say, hey, guys, we have created a phone that will cost you $1 and it will do everything 10x better. People are like, dump the fucking stock. There's something wrong. People are so pessimistic. But it's fascinating because it's so irrational. And there's no advantage in any of this stuff. Shit's hard, man. Not gonna lie to you. But I watch all these videos of people that aren't profitable for years and it just clicks for them, right? I think what happens is people get tired of just consistent progress. Like we all just want the big kahuna now. And sometimes situations call like you gotta risk. But if you risk too much and you lose it, then you actually set yourself back like 5 steps. So I don't know. But I will say it is stupid to me. Because I'm watching. And to be honest, I feel like prediction markets is basically sports betting. And I just think this whole like laws and rules stuff is stupid. In terms of, I understand people's concern with gambling and stuff like that. My thing is, if we're going to allow one thing, it's the same as betting the over-under on the amount of runs in a game. I would argue you have a better chance of guessing that correctly than fucking who's going to win the damn game. That's what's harder to predict. And it's odd that we allow prediction markets, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that, daily fantasy sports, even though I don't do that. But it's weird the things that they do allow in every state is where the biggest disadvantages are. The real advantages are the ones that you have to go to like Vegas and I guess, I don't even know, Ohio. These states that allow gambling to that extent. Over-unders, I feel like that would be a better avenue for a lot of people. Where you could probably be profitable if you relatively know what you're looking at. But another thing I will say about it is it takes the enjoyment of sports out of it. And that is a fair point, I will say. When you have money on a game or you're just even an insignificant amount of money, it really just like you're watching, you're more disgust and anger at yourself for why am I holding these grown men to a standard that they're just trying to fucking win the game too. They're not trying to lose. You know? But yeah. Welcome to episode 340 of the Often Be Podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Most important, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah. Sorry about the camera angle. I know I'm all crotch right now, but I fucked up my setting and stuff like that. And honestly, I got to do this in a rush amount of time before, my partner gets home, because it's weird. It's weird how when you do certain things, it's not even towards an individual. There's certain things that you need to have like the freedom of space to do. Even if you're in your own room or private space, there's just some, like, we have a sense, like, I can't say this wild shit that I say sometimes if my partner's in the other room. Not because she would come in here and be like, what the fuck you... It's just because you're not as free to just let loose. It's like, it's almost like there's a spirit there, like, interfering with you actually being a decent person. But no, I've been thinking a lot about just kind of when you go out to places. I've had an observation that it really feels like there's a lot of people living in a steady state of consistent feeling of... Let me think how to put this. I didn't prep before this episode, in case you can't tell. There's a lot of people living in a steady state of consistent understanding that this is it for them. Like this is what their life is, whatever that may be. And it's kind of sad to see that there are a lot of people who've just lost hope out there. And I feel very compassionate towards it. Sometimes, we all feel at a time, we feel like, man, like, is this really the best I can do? No matter how hard you try or put effort, it feels like I don't know how much more I have to better what I have or to better what I can get. It feels like a lot of things are always working against me. It's that stuff you get in your head about. So when I go to places and I see people sit down and they're just working on their stuff in public, I do it sometimes too. And I don't know how to feel about it. Because I think what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of people make judgment about people that work on stuff in public. And what really you need to understand is some people, their home situation isn't compatible with doing stuff. Like, it's weird. It's almost like you go out to more public places to do private work when you have a steady home, because when you have a steady place of where to live, there's nothing new, right? It's the same thing all the time. Same kitchen, same living room, same bed, same bowl you shit in, same shit you shower, same everything. And when you go somewhere, it's one of the few times like your sensory changes. Cause I'll be honest, like I have been more desolate and isolated and more an inside person, no pun intended, in the past few months than I've ever been. And it's almost like once you get caught in that cycle of just being inside and just on your laptop all day, trying to consume information, learn stuff, whatever, think about the next thing, you really do become dumber. Really, like, your sense of anything exciting changes. Like, I'm looking outside right now, and I don't get that same outside, fresh grass, new air feeling when I go outside. And I guess what I want to tie it into, is when I go out to places, it feels like, I don't want to put a number, but like 80 to 90% of people, they're either seeking something so exponential outside of themselves, whether it's a partner. Like, I've never understood people that are obsessed with finding a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Not that you don't want a partner, but I feel like the most natural way to find a partner is to not seek out a partner, but to do things that you're passionate about, do things you're interested in, live a life that's meaningful to you, and then you will attract the meaningful people that actually value those things. And I'll be honest, like I recently started getting on Facebook recently. For the first time in years, the hassle I had to fucking go through, Zuckerberg, to recover my own fucking Facebook. Most insane shit ever. But neither here nor there. And it's crazy. It's still the same shit, man. It's a bunch of people putting these passive aggressive posts about loyalty. You know, once you've been burned once, the candle has melted. It's like, okay, so you stick wax dildos up your butt now. Okay, whatever you gotta do to feel something. It's always the people talking about loyalty that it's like, I went to school with you. I know a few things about you. I feel like you're kind of just reposting what someone said about you. And I feel like the more people post about stuff, and look, I'll be honest, doing a podcast, you self-project. You project off your insecurities, however you want to play it. A lot of our opinions are based off insecurities and self-projections of things. That's not a bad thing, but it is what it is. You know, I think it takes till you get way older to actually think about what's best for things other than yourself. Like the true meaning of being an adult, or the true, I think, measuring stick of what separates an adult from a man-child, this guy, is being able to think something is what is best for the situation may not be what's best for you, if that makes sense. Like, and that's why I typically when people like, it takes for them to have kids, to have a family, to have something to lose to realize what that means. Because it's very hard to look at an 8-year-old child you brought into this world and you're on the cusp of giving up and losing everything. It's hard to look that kid in the eye and be like, yeah, I just don't want to work anymore. It's hard to really, because you're not only dealing with that child never looking at you the same the rest of their life, but then you have to deal with other people judging the fuck out of you. Which for some people motivates them more than the actual thing. Peer pressure, the feeling of their peers, society, the word getting out that you're a bum, the word getting out that you don't take care of your child, the word getting out that, you know, you have a small wee-wee. I mean, that could crush everything for you. Once a negative perception is out there about yourself, you're done though. It's very hard to recover from certain things. But that's where like sacrificing your happiness for something bigger than yourself. Because and that's what being grown adults about, being a grown man, a grown woman, or grown, you know, elephant, whatever you identify, grown furry, you know. Never been a kinky guy or a kink shamer. I do wonder what it would be like to pet a furry. I wonder, do they shave? Do furries shave? Hey, another question for another day. That would be a fun convention to go to. Not for me. Yeah, I'm not like one of these weird podcasters that even though I have a girlfriend that I deeply love, I'm not one of these podcasters that go out and talk shit, or like I talk about, you know, what it would be like to be with women and doing sexual things with women. To actually, you know, put that out there like, hey, I'm not secretly DMing girls on IG like a lot of these dudes do. But girl, Princess Leia. Some of these guys are weirdos. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Takes one to know one, right? But you know, I don't know. being a furry, what that would entail, you know? Nothing wrong with being a nice fur ball. Now, Jesus, I'm getting absolutely destroyed today, bro. Yep, I am getting absolutely fucked. I'm getting absolutely demolished right now. Well, at least I exited the one trade. See, kids, there's your PSA not to trade. I'm getting absolutely demolished right now. I did everything fucking right, and I'm still getting wrecked. Like, what the fuck, Disney? Disney hasn't done anything meaningful in the past fucking year. And they want to fucking go off the rails now. Like, fuck you. Yeah. Volatility of my anger issues. I'm keeping it together because there's a camera on me. You know? Oh, Pita Pika Peka Peka Peppa. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, the fall off is real. I'm like J. Cole. Might delete this later. I haven't heard about J. Cole. You know, it's weird. I think music has lost that people being in tune. Like, I used to really care about. I think because, you know, I used to rap, you know, for fun back in the day. Nothing too serious. So when I rapped with my friend, I got introduced to a lot of newer music that I never really listened to. And I used to rap over beats. So I learned a lot about people that make beats and stuff like that. J. Cole and stuff like that at the time. All new to me. And I used to be, you know, you go down these rabbit holes of all their old music, you know, how they progressed, their personal life, you know. Live concerts, interviews, all this stuff. Like, we want to get so invested. I don't think really people are invested with the individuals from a real standpoint. We're more interested in the gossip, in their lives when it's in ruins, when they have toxic relationships, when they get divorced. DDG and Halle Bailey. There's a lot of things that we've become more fascinated. We don't really care about the real, you know, struggle. I don't want to say struggle, but like their come up. And now we're more worried about what happens after they get it. And then we pay extra attention and we hyper focus on their stuff that's wrong about them. And this is why you don't idolize celebrity couples. I mean, Brittany Renner just divorced Kevin Gates after 54 days? Some shit like that. We got this domestic potential, allegedly abusive situation with DDG and Halle Bailey. And what it goes to show is that you cannot sit here and idolize people that you do not know. And I know that's a simple ass statement to say, but we got to really, really, really be careful. Because now what happens is you idolize a celebrity couple. Typically with the celebrity couple, people have favorites. Who idolizes a celebrity couple? Teens and young adults that have nothing to do. Typically women are going to side with women. Men are going to always give men the benefit of doubt. It's just human nature. Anytime there's a situation of allegedly men abusing women when they're going through paternity situation, divorce, and it comes up during their divorce, people are always going to assume, guys are always going to assume, it's a cash grab and all this stuff. Why didn't this happen then? And then women are always going to see this is gaslighting, this is men, all this stuff. Like, I get it. But now you are so involved into people's lives to a point that you're projecting and taking sides on a situation that you do not know a damn thing about. And this goes for everyone involved. And it's funny because I remember they had their baby, right? Because I remember back in the day, people used to idolize Tiana Taylor and Amon Shumpert. What happened now? She's getting Mufasa all over the place, bro. Now she's doing music videos with the guy that she's with. And when she's not with him, maybe they will be together forever. I don't know. And when she's not with him, another guy's going to be music videos. It's going to be another cycle. Remy Ma and Papoose. I remember that was a whole thing. And now, look what happened there. And this is why you got to stop with these ride or die couples. Because they are human flawed relationships just like you. Imagine your current relationship you're in now. Even if you think it's a stable, great, never had any real issues, values align, you popped out babies after you got married, great. Now put you in the spotlight. Now you're Bobby Altoff. Put you in the spotlight. I mean, Judge Mathis, the dude who's half of his court cases. Paternity. Now, his wife divorced him. Maury Povich, apparently early on in their relationship. She did shit. No one is beyond that. No one is safe out here. It's the point that you cannot get into these people's relationships. Be so invested more than you are into your own relationship with God, or whoever. People get more emotional about that than when's the last time you called your mother, you piece of shit. I'm not projecting onto myself at all. But you get the point here. God damn, that tea is so fucking good. I'm sorry. But we have become too invested into other people's lives because, one, it's escapism. It's a unhealthy attachment. I've never understood friends that are obsessed with hanging around with other couples when they're couples. I've always thought couples dates are weird. I've always thought that hanging out, three marriages, hanging out at one house to watch a game. I always thought that was weird. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't grow up seeing that. But there's some things like marriage and relationships are supposed to be an exclusive nature. And once you put it out there like that, and not that you're with someone, but when you start posting activities you do with your partner, posting how amazing your partner is all the time, you're setting people up for failure, weirdly. And it's not that your fault when they fail, but it is. No. But it's not that your fault when they fail, but typically, when there's a unknown fascination with someone, and that's typically the honeymoon stages at first, there's this obsessiveness to post how happy you are, I've never felt so cared about before. It's give it 3 months. And trust me, I'll make you feel like you've never been cared about. That's a shitty thing to say. I'm joking. Not on purpose, at least. But, we're all human. We all fuck up. So, I think my message to you is find your relationship with something that's worth the damn before you start investing in other people's relationships where you don't even know if they think it's worth the damn. So, there's your nugget of the day that no one asked. That's what I'll be doing. Dropping nuggets. Boom! To the high side. Not really. So, yeah. This podcast is about gambling, abuse, unwarranted relationship advice. You get the whole package here. I think a lot of people are just struggling to find wholeness. That sounds gay. Like, I don't know how realistic a rags to riches story is nowadays. Because what people sell you, a lot of, it's a fine line between dreaming big out here. There's a lot of people, we dream big out here. And you stay optimistic, you're persistent. And people will cheer you on and tell you, keep going, you're doing great. And then you keep going and you realize, I'm not really doing great. But then if you go more certain paths and things are rewarded relatively, not easily, but things are rewarded relative to what history and common sense and stuff like that, stable jobs and all that good shit. Then people shit on you for never going for anything. It's odd. Because it's really, we find ways to find everything wrong with every path taken. And I think I've said it before, but I think just like anything, you just gotta choose one and just be okay with whatever comes with it. I mean, that's all you can really do at the end of the day. Because you can sit around and go with what you think people want from you. You can sit around and think you're doing what you should be doing, things that make you happy. But even though doing the thing makes you happy, the stuff that comes with it, is it really worth it to the extent, Like, I'll be honest, like, when it comes to doing this or doing trading and stuff like that, I enjoy doing it. And I'll say I enjoy this a lot more by far. I enjoyed this because I have a healthy relationship with this now where I love doing it. And I also I'm okay with not doing it sometimes. Like, if I don't feel like I have anything worthwhile to say, I'm not keen on doing X amount of episodes a week anymore. I used to be about, bro, when I first did this show. By the way, yesterday, dude, it feels like just like a month ago I was talking about another anniversary, June 8th. 4-year anniversary of doing this goddamn show. Like, hey, can't be mad at that. Typically, I remember it going in, and that's like when it becomes a part of your life, you're not obsessed with the celebrations, the anniversaries. You just still love doing the thing. And I have a healthy relationship with it where I enjoy it. I love it. It's still a big part of my life. But, I'm not like obsessed with the thing as like I used to be, but in a good way. Because I try to have other interests now. Before, like, this was the only interest. Now I've developed a lot of other interests. And it's a good thing because it shows when you develop other interests and you still have that common interest that carried over with the newer life that you've created, that means that you truly do love this thing. And you will see it out, right? Where these other new stuff I've developed, I enjoy it most days. I don't enjoy the losing money here and there and stuff like that. But, that just comes with the game. You can't do it. You're not going to win 100% of the time. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a thing because everyone would be fucking millionaires off this shit. But stuff like trading, I like doing it. The feeling of when you have a good day it goes on the like you have this momentum. You feel like you're the king of the fucking market, bro. And, on days where you don't lose money, you break even, or you just kind of like, hey, nowadays, bro, I'm happy if I just don't lose money, which is good. That's just as positive a day. But even on days that I win and stuff like that, I'll be honest, and I think it's still just like that. When you first get into something and you still feel like you need to put in the time to prepare and just looking at stuff, like you become a little bit too obsessive and you don't like how much it occupies your life outside of the hours, bro. Like it's like, bro, like I'm checking every couple hours overnight just to see like if anything drastic has changed. Like even right now, I have 2 positions. It's a Monday. I have 2 positions and I plan on holding on to them for a couple days, even though they're not working too much for me right now, but I think one of them will at least. I'm even thinking back in my mind, I'm like, bro, like, should I just exit it? And that's the thing, like, bro, like, I don't like there are times, like, bro, I go to sleep, and I'm not just, like, thinking about the stock market and nothing like that, but you go to sleep, and you are just, bro, there's this weird anxiety about it. And I realize a lot of my interests, because they are uncertain, they are performance-based, there's no guarantee in money, like, there's a lot of anxiety that comes with it. That, drinking this caffeine, the uncertainty that comes with this, bro, like, it's kind of fun and exciting, because every day is a new opportunity. There's no guarantee. But at the same time, bro, like, it is not a life for everyone. It is absolutely not. It's definitely probably not ideal for someone with my personality, to be pretty honest with you. But, you got to see it through. You got to trust your process. And even though today, kind of flat on my face, had to cut a loss, made a few small little bets of monies or whatever. And you just got to be okay with the fact that you may not know shit. Like, but the anxiety that comes with it, I don't care how level-headed of a person you are. When you start having to make it for an income, it's a whole different lack of freedom animal you have to deal with. And every dollar, every losing trade feels like 3x than what it really is. Every winning trade feels like half as good as it actually is. And that's the thing. And even trying to do some sports betting to make some extra money. You realize the more you do it and obsess over it, you're probably going to have less success results. And what I realized, the number one, and I think my overall assessment of whether that's any of these probability money making professions, in quote, when it comes to odds, gambling and stuff like that, there's one metric that is the number one that I think is the most common outlier of whether you will have a chance. I wouldn't say you will be, but have a better chance of not losing money than the other. And that is the amount you do. The amount of trades, the amount of bets you place will be the number one outlier. And I realize this because I monitored my baseball ones. And I realized it's not I can have, the thing is let's say I think there was like 10 games on Sunday or something like that. I wrote it down before the day started, who I think was going to win, blah, blah, blah. And what I wrote down, I got like 7 of the 10 or 11 right. So that's a set. Now, if I do every single game, and I actually place a bet on every single game, 10 small bets at the same amount, same probable payout, depending on the odds, underdog, and stuff like that, I will make technically a profit, but it's not going to be much. Where I would have been better off picking 2 or 3, putting more size in each one, hoping 2 of the 3, and I would have been more profitable. Because the more you do, the odds are in their favor. That's really what the house is. It's about, people think the more small trades they do, the more leverage they have. The more odds in sports betting and stuff like that. The odds are in your, no, it's in their favor. And so I think it's really just hunkering down, less is more. And that's really just with everything. Less is more. And really just having a strong belief in what you're doing and just riding that out, but not being married to it. So yeah, there's your lesson of the day. If you're going to gamble, gamble less. God, thank God no one asks me for advice, bro. I will lose you money like you've never lost money before. It would be quite impressive. Like, I mean quite impressive, you dirty whore. And like, I'm looking right now. This is real life action. I am thinking about doubling down on a short that I have to make up some money. And that's how you get up in this fucked up cycle where it's like, yeah, but now it'll work. Because my fucking ego says, no, Clint, now it'll work. It didn't work before, but now you got an advantage. And you're like, do I? I'm not going to do it right now because I'm recording. And I don't want to be impulsive. But being an impulsive asshole, bro. You know, being a bullshitter. And bullshitting doesn't necessarily mean you lie, right? I know I'm about to gaslight you what a bullshitter is. You know, I will say, you gotta love it. I watched this movie called Shooter the other day. Actually, yesterday. Why am I saying the other day? It's the Mark Wahlberg movie where he gets hired. He was in, I think, the Marines or the Army or whatever. The movie opens up. Him and his friend, they're sniping, Afghans from afar or whatever. And they end up, shit goes awry. His friend gets blown up and dies. It's a fucked up movie for a lot of reasons. Friend dies, so 3 years later, he just tries to escape everything. He goes live up in the mountains in Virginia or wherever. And the FBI, CIA comes to his house, try to persuade him they know the president, quote unquote, is about to be assassinated. So, since he's an elite sniper, they're going to have him, quote unquote, try to snipe the person who's trying to snipe him. Which, if there is a threat that someone's going to snipe the president, wouldn't you just cancel the fucking event? Like the event to speak out in public in the open, is it really worth whatever he's got to say? He can't just say in an indoor building, a protected building, instead of having them out in the street. Like, we know there's death threats, so we're going to put him out there. And we're going to snipe the sniper, even though we don't know where he's at. So they hire him to try to figure out where this guy would be at. And there was no guy, spoiler alert, it was a self-automated sniper that they built in the military years prior that actually killed the African president. And they ended up shooting him for whatever reason. It still doesn't make sense why they would hire him just to shoot him. Oh, yeah. Because they wanted to frame him. That's why. I forgot the whole plot of the movie. They wanted to frame him. Then they frame him to try to make like he did it. He escapes and was able to escape. He got shot, but he's able to escape, military training, solve his wound and all that stuff. Then he goes to his partner who died in war, his ex-wife's house because she was she was going to train to be a nurse. So he figured, hey, she would know tie up some wounds. He goes there, and God forbid he almost fucks her. Like, what the fuck? You fall in love, you take guilt for him dying at war, a wife that he loved and bragged to you about, and you go over and you almost fall in love with her. Like, what the actual fuck? Neither here nor there. Really good movie, but I was watching, I almost paused and I was like, fuck you, Mark Wahlberg. And I'm watching the movie. I forgot what the whole point why I started talking about this. I generally forgot why the fuck I started talking about this movie. Shooter, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I forgot why the fuck I'm just talking about a movie I fucking watched. No one wants to hear that shit. This ain't the rewatchables. But yeah. What was I talking about? What you talking about, Woos? But yeah, so I was watching the movie, and God damn, it really does bother me why I forgot to talk, why the fuck I started talking about it. But, by the way, there's a lot of good fucking movies for free out here. Like, a lot of good movies. But yeah, it's a good movie, but like, Jesus Christ, like, what the fuck, man? Like, I hate this, like, it's this weird thing about online criticism about actors, and there's always the jokes about, like, Mark Wahlberg, where actors have no range. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, no range. Like, quite the opposite of someone like Christian Bale, Daniel Day-Lewis, Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's always, we single in on actors who we feel like they play the same, they're the same person in every movie. It's like, what would you want these people to play as? Like, I honestly don't know if I would enjoy it. Even if he was good at it. If Mark Wahlberg was like a baseball player in a movie and actually try to be like, I'm watching a Mark Wahlberg movie because I want to see fucking Mark Wahlberg. That's okay. Like, I think they could act in different ways, but that's not what people want to see. And honestly, if you paid me $10 million to be myself, I mean, I'm doing it for free anyways, It's this weird, like, this online thing where there's this heavy criticism of actors, singers who, and it's the same with, like, music. We say every Nickelback song sounds the same. Every Seether sounds the same. Every, I would argue a lot of Usher songs sound the same. Like, it's just a lazy assessment for what they're trying to accomplish. Like, a lot of Michael Jackson songs sound the same. There, I said it. Doesn't mean they're not great. But every R. Kelly song sounds the same. A little rape involved, but they sound the same, We gotta stop with this has no range, or they all sound the same. Because That's what we watch them for them. I would argue it's almost like if someone they always have to do characters that are so absurdly outside themselves. That's impressive. But it may also mean that there's an insecurity of their personality isn't gravitating enough to lead a movie. So there's two sides of the coin. It doesn't make what one does worse than the other. They're two different I think like a leading man and leading woman, it's literally more about, God, I hate to say it, your aura. It really is about your presence more than anything. Your stature, your gravitational pull, your confidence. Like, people feel that from you. Like, that's really, I think, what we seek from when we talk about leading a production. This whole, like, I don't want people that could do 20 different, I don't care to have an actor in a movie that could do 20 different things if neither really stand out when they're on screen. Congrats, you can kind of sing, you can kind of dance. Go be a backup dancer on SNL. That's not a shade. But standing out in one thing makes you the host on SNL. And then, congrats, you can sing, you can dance, you can act, you can remember lines, you can do sketches. It's like, yeah, but Elon Musk is fucking famous. Stands out. You know, people blame. Like, we've seen, like, athletes. Like, Tom Brady has been on SNL host. LeBron James has been SNL host. They were a long time ago. Travis Kelce. It's not about how skilled or impressive you are at the thing that makes people interested. Because guess what? You all are working to make the show work around that person, even if they are kind of holding the production back with their skill set. Because people are there to see them. And I've thought about this, you know, we always say, you know, the guests, like on a lot of podcasts, like JRE, but like JRE, Whiskey Ginger and stuff like that, like we love the host, right? But people always like, oh, he should just, you know, honestly, it would be a good podcast if you just interview young Jamie. I don't know if you guys know, he has done it. I enjoyed it. But honestly, we're so used to him when we tune into the show, we want the guest. The guest drives the ratings of who comes on how many people are going to traffic to the show. And then if the show's good and it's an unknown guest, then the word will get around and then more people tune into it. I remember Mark Norman's, how I was introduced to him. His first episode he ever did on JRE. It was years and years ago, probably 2019, 2020. He was wearing the suit and everything. He was kind of like a young guy or whatever. And that was the first time I heard it. I remember the episode came out weeks prior. I used to listen to almost every episode. I was like, you know, I saw a clip or two. I'm like, it's kind of, and then I listened to the whole episode. I'm like, oh, I really like this shit. I like him. And now I listen to Tuesdays with Stories just about. That's only one of the few shows when it drops every week. 90% of the time, I'm watching it the night of or the day after. I guess the point I'm trying to make here is I don't have a point. I just like Mark Norman. Yay. I will say, I've watched like the first hour of the recent Protect Our Parks episode. It is the most, and it's still a good show, it is the most tame of the Protect Our Parks. And there's a lot of people, you know, Joe going Christian. Joe's kind of dialing back the alcohol and stuff like that. I think they basically did the show sober for the most part. And it seemed like, you know, they were still funny and stuff, but it is kind of like, I'm going to be honest, I tuned in because I want to hear the wildest shit. And, you know, I honestly think the next time they do the show, they're all going to be drunk as fuck. Like, they're going to be wrecked. Like, because not that the show is bad, but when people tune in to protect our parks. It's like the once every couple month thing they do. When we tune in, bro, we want Norman to be absolutely reckless. We want Joe not to get every joke, laughing at everything. Ari Shaffir actually being like the median host to calm everything down. And Shane saying, "Were you gay?" You know, there's that dynamic we expect. It seemed very tame. And I think it is just kind of a sign that we got to accept that maybe the show's changing. We got to accept that getting drunk all the time may not be good for your health. I don't even think they realize that. So I think for me personally, I probably won't finish the episode. Not that it's bad, but you know, there's just too much other stuff out there. So, but no, I remember going back to Norman when he first appeared. It was like really like, that was when like every person would be on Rogan. There would be they called it the Rogan bump. But for me, it was more like an introduction to like, if you you will have a fan base. And if you capitalize on that, bro, you are good. And Norman is a definition of someone who, he had the opportunity before with Seinfeld, capitalized on, went on there. But people don't realize, I think the beautiful part of something like he did, and the right way to go about it, is you capitalize it by bringing value. He introduced a new sign of humor that he hasn't had on that show before. He already had his own things going, but that show brought popularity to that stuff, made him more known. He capitalized YouTube, capitalized social media. Was already doing it before and provided value by being funny, entertaining, being himself. And just continuously sticking with that. A guy who's true to the art. I know this sounds, whatever to people. But regardless of what you're doing, someone who truly, you could tell, puts in the time, is obsessed and cares about it, and been doing it for years. And then they get the break, capitalize it, then some. And then now, I don't think people realize how fucking rich he is. But yeah. I want to do it, but I can't. Hey, you know what? We're going to do it, pal. No, we're not. See, this is a sickness. You are watching a sick man. I'm joking. Kind of. Yepperoo. God, I gotta pee I gotta pee, baby. I gotta pee, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh-wee. What else is going on out there, Oh, yeah. So we got, probably should have talked about this beginning of the show. I'll probably clip this one out. So Tommy Loren went on, she's a Fox News analyst, correspondent. By the way, she looks wildly different. I'm not saying she looks bad. She's definitely on Ozempic, though. Cause that's like scary skinny, her facial features, but whatever. I was watching, and there's this viral clip going out of her basically calling the young men of today lazy, not real men. They want to sit at home, do nothing. And so women got to settle for less and all this stuff, right? And she is the prime definition of why, as a guy, young guy, you should absolutely ignore any woman that shames you for doing something that's beneficial to you. I'm not saying stay at home and do nothing, but a lot of these women's definition of being a worthwhile member of society is serving them more than actually serving yourself in any capacity. And if you don't find ways to serve yourself, she's going to not really respect you and love you anyways in the long run. So you're going to do all this to take care of someone who views you that no matter what you do, it's not enough. Anyways, I'm not advocating being a mom, sleeping in your mom's basement, nothing like that. What I'm saying is there's just this bland, general derivative of an accusation that gets put on young men today about not being X, Y, and Z in their eyes. And men have started to go towards a way to just do their, I hate to say do their own thing, but to really go different routes than maybe have been in the past. Kind of living a more directional life. Trying more risky things. It's weird because she works for a network, and all these networks, the people that they talk about all day, the people that they allocate for, the people that they like cream their pants over are people that if they did exactly what they said wouldn't be in their positions. They talk to entrepreneurial businessmen with billions of dollars. They cream over Elon all day. They cream over Trump all day, which are guys that never did these things that they want these young men to do. So it's weird that these networks, they idolize these people that are billionaires, successful, and all that good stuff. Innovators, not your average people. But she wants you to be average so they can always have this superiority over you. Even if they're, quote unquote, telling you how great you are. Because really, you're no better than the bum who's living in his basement. If you really want to put it out there like that. I know that sounds... But you got to be careful when people like to speak for other people that they have no relatability to. You do not know what it's like to be a man in society, for one. But also, a young man in today's times. You really don't. You do not know the uphill battle climb that young men face in this economy and this environment, how we're viewed. That you can do all the right things, and it's just to serve others. And you can do all the right things for years and have nothing to show for it for yourself. Not saying that always happens, but it happens more, and there's no backup to where if things don't work out, hey, you know what? Someone will love me just for me. The only people that will love you just for you, in best case scenarios, is your mom, your dad, and your close family. But even then, they're still going to look at you some type of way like, what the fuck have you done? And they, fair enough. And it's always like, I think men and women, we live our lives based off what will the risk to reward, right? And you kind of, like, that's great, There's plenty of women out here doing great things. Making a lot of money. Great jobs on paper. And then they feel this superiority about themselves. Feel like men ain't this and that and the other. They deserve better. But what they don't realize is if they didn't get that position, there's a fallback where they could live the same life they live now. Financially, spiritually. And there's always the avenue of you can just be with someone that can provide the life you want to be with. And I'm not ashamed of that. It is what it is. If I don't figure some shit out, there's not many women that would want to be with me. Shit, my partner might leave me. That's the case. I mean, it doesn't make her a bad person by any means, but it is the reality. She could leave me for someone that has more of their shit together. Someone who has a stable job. Someone who has X, Y, and Z. That's the reality. And you could sit here and pretend that people are your ride or die. You could sit here and pretend that no matter what, people will love you. You can sit here, and then there's Tommy Loren, who really speaks for women who don't want to say it out loud because of fear of persecution. But the reality is as a guy in this world, especially a young man, no matter how much you are against the ball, from if you don't have enough income saved up, if you don't have economic power to make certain decisions, you might be stuck in situations longer than desired or longer than expected, because you got to work twice as hard as 50 years ago to get out of the same situation. You got to work twice as hard to get half as much. And if you don't get it, no one's getting it for you. It's great. You could risk it and you may lose it all. And you know what? Most guys be like, hell, what are you going to do? If a woman goes for it in her situation, loses it all, it's a lawsuit, it's discrimination. She gets fired from Fox today, right? What can she do? File discrimination, say this, that, the other. Marry someone, live a great to better life, get divorced, maybe even live a better life. That's not an avenue for us. Men, a lot of this system is designed to keep men in check to the point where you don't really have a lot of freedom. It's this illusion of freedom we have of ourselves, and it's becoming less and less by the day. This whole thing that men control the world, yeah, to an extent. A few. But we still just want some poon poon, you know? It controls everything. And a lot of women, they'll complain about there's not enough men they desired and stuff like that, you know. Not enough, and then they don't like what comes with the territory. Because I'm going to be honest, man, like, if I wasn't with my partner, right? I was a single guy, and I became a millionaire, I would be so hesitant with who I brought in my life. I would not be going, like, I would be so skeptical of every woman, every person that tried to social network with me, try to be my friend after that, based off my previous life experience of not having that. I would be so skeptical. And if anything, I would be like, not a player by any means, but I would be more along the lines of like, I wouldn't commit to many women because I could get all the benefits without dealing with the nonsense, and I know you will rationalize it. And a lot of people think that way. And that's a shitty thing to say out loud. But guys and girls think that way. If you have a leverage up to not have to comply to something, you're not going to. Oh, characters exposed when you have money. It's like, yeah. And there's a lot of pastors with power that still cheat on their partners even though they pray every day to be loyal to the church. So yes, absolutely. There's a pastor going viral on these podcasts with their partner, with his partner. And they just talk nonchalantly how he just cheats all the time, bro. And she has a smile on her face, even though you can tell deep down it really hurts her. And he hides behind the sin of God and all this stuff, whatever. I just roll my eyes at it, but it's whatever. But you're telling me, because we rationalize and we make it cool to hurt people and loyalty and cheat and all this stuff, social media has really succumbed to really desensitize a lot of people. We make funny sketches about your girl, like your partner comes home early, so you got your side piece sneaking out the back door and all that stuff, no pun intended. And we make all these jokes about it, and it's all fun. It's a Drewski sketch. It's a King Botch sketch. So it's funny, except that seeps into people's minds, and it becomes funny when they do it. And they take sketches into real life thinking that's the life that they're living. And that's where it goes back to being invested into celebrity couples. See, it all comes full circle. But the point I'm trying to make is it's all pipes. Tommy Loren is literally just a symptom. She is just a representation of reality. Listen, as a guy, listen to what she's saying. And then that should be a reminder to do your thing that's actually going to make you enjoyable to be around. Because whatever path you choose is probably in the long run going to make you more money and more beneficial than taking a job that she would like you to take. But then you got to come home and be miserable to a woman that doesn't even give a fuck about you. She gives a fuck about what you should represent, but she didn't give a fuck about you. So, yeah, there's my projection of the day. That was episode 340 of the Offbeat Podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, the notification bell, most support, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to suck some titties. Yeah, not a bad episode. Man, these jeans are tight.